All right, and again, hello everyone, and welcome back. We're in the middle of a series of videos showing how we move the robot around. And I always try to start my videos with this: welcome and hello. I'm glad you're here. I am glad you're here. Have fun, enjoy. I have a YouTube channel named Patrick Gray. I invite you to subscribe. I do have a website. On the website, I have pages on all sorts of things, but one is give the robot a hand, and that's where all this hand stuff or strength stuff is. And of course, always want to mention anything that's real could potentially hurt somebody. If you are managing a real item, I advise manage it in a manner that is legally allowed and reasonable and safe. And if you cannot manage it in that way, then I advise do not create it as a physically real item. And we are continuing to talk about how we got the robot from looking like this to looking like that. And we had it open in SketchUp. And we're back. So we had moved the arm by 60 degrees to abduct it some. And I think people are going to say, yeah, but the hand was up here. So we moved the hand and not the robot when we should have moved the robot and not the hand. And this problem is not hard to fix that. You have to go back out. So we moved the arm when the arm should have stayed still, and we moved the robot. But in SketchUp, it's hard to do it that way. So now we'll go back out. And again, I'll put it on pause. And again, in SketchUp, the reason why this is so complicated and slow in SketchUp is I wanted to show the whole robot with everything. And all of these parts are complicated. So it just takes it a while to refresh. But we are now in a position where we can pick the whole robot. There it is. Okay, and we rotated this by 60 degrees, so we can go back up to the same axis of rotation that we had. And again, I put it out where I can look around. See, I'm in the look around mode, and I have these 4 stripes that I put up here. That tells me where that hand was. These little stripes are they're lined up with this ligament of the hand. So we've got it selected for rotation, and down here you can see how much rotation I've done, and we happen to know that what we want to do is 60 degrees because that's what we did. So we type in 60 down there, and there we go. See, the robot is back where it was. And this allows us to begin the process of moving the robot. And we talk to our, what we call the committee of 12 spouses and say, so is that it? Is that what a person would look like? And they're going to say, I think, no, that's not exactly what a person would do. And so, and the other thing is, this isn't right. So we have to fix that. Another issue is, since the robot was standing back here, you can see that the robot, the center of mass of the robot is about right here. So under the influence of gravity, this whole robot is going to swing forward. And probably we should just go ahead and fix that. But I think what I'll do, since we're talking about how the hydraulic cylinders work, is demonstrate how did we get this arm to do that. And what happened was we have to move this over. And that's going to move over if we extend this hydraulic cylinder right here. It will swing this over. And the reason why there's 2 hydraulic cylinders is because in the human being, the arm can go from here all the way down to there. And it's very difficult to get enormous ranges of motion out of just one hydraulic cylinder and maintain a small and compact form factor for the whole joint. And again, what we have to do is navigate down to this structure here. And so I'll do that and I'll put it on pause and we'll get back to that. And I have brought it in a little bit, and I wanted to just show you how this was connected to that. So this has to rotate down some, and this has to rotate up some. And I know you're going to be saying, wow, why is that so complicated? Now notice I altered the opacity of these structures so you can see through them. And the reason I did that is so you can see what's going on. And the reason this is so complicated is because I'm trying to take an entire human shoulder run by soft wraparound muscles that human beings have and create a human shoulder using solid, unmoving metal objects. And I'm squeezing it all together. And you might be saying, there's a lot of ways to get these back together again, usually guessing. But something you can do is to put a circle in there, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we will take the view and hide what we can't see. And then we're going to pick a circle, and the circle, again, that's why I made these little diamond-shaped structures. It keeps this in the plane of this structure, and we can go up here and make the circle. So we made the circle. It goes a little bit slow because it's so complicated. All right, and so we'll come back out again, and we'll tell SketchUp that we don't want this part of the circle. And so now we know where this can be. And we'll change our view back. And that tells us now we're going to go look at this structure. And I'm going to have to close groups to do that, and I'll put it on pause. And so now I have selected this of, I don't know what these are called, a follower or a traveler. It stabilizes these parts so they don't fight with each other. And we know that this was connected to that. And so we can take this and again force it to turn the way we wanted it to turn. And we can take this indexing point and swing this up to there. And within reason, it should be that this one will swing right down into there. That's the next thing we're going to do. And I have to get it selected, so I'm going to put it on pause again. And now I'm at a location where the circle is, so I can remove it. We don't need it anymore. And you can see that it's gone. And so now we need to rotate this. And we'll see if we're just rotating that structure. And that's the only thing that we're rotating is that. So we can go in here and force it to rotate around this axis. And we can go back over here to this one and choose this, and it should rotate down to there. And you can see with SketchUp okay, that here's the back end of this one coming across. If you line these up, this is not quite right. It's easily fixed. I just have to basically select this one and move it out a little bit. And this is just the way it works with this type of three-dimensional drawing. And you might go, wow, that's complicated. But it is also free. And again, we can go, and this need to keep messing around with it is just a feature of this type of a program, and the fact that all of these parts are sort of existing, floating free in space. And I don't mind doing it because it's free. So that pretty much lines it up. If we had to, we could take this piston, see what it moved at 0.6. Let's move it to 0.5. That looks right. So we'll take that. The truth is, in a real structure, again, this is free. It's a drawing. In a real structure, this is all locked in. So it has to move. You don't have to worry about it. But one of the things we do have to worry about is the question of, is this going to work? And the way it works is this hydraulic cylinder extended itself. So now we have to get this hydraulic cylinder and prove to ourselves that it could have done it. And there it is. So we've selected it. And we go in here to the rotation side of it. And we go up here to this, which is the bearing. And we rotate the bearing up until this hydraulic cylinder is pointed at this interface up here, which is where it was in the first place. So we put it there. And all that's left is to move this up. And I set this up when I created it where the axis of motion of these piston rods and piston heads is always in the red axis. So I should be able to choose the red axis and lift this up. And there it goes. Okay. 1.6, let's try 1.5. And that's very close. And we can line up all these parts. And that's pretty good. And so what we've done by doing this, and again, we don't have to get it at perfection level because it would all, in a real structure, it would all be completely put together. So it would have to move like it's supposed to. But what we've established here is this hydraulic cylinder, if it extends itself, will push this arm over, and this one doesn't have to do anything, and it will open up the angle because this is the rotation of the shoulder, and this is abduction, adduction. So we move the shoulder around abduction, adduction, and we moved it out by 60 degrees. And so we now have the robot hanging down at a attitude that is closer to what we think it should be doing. And again, she's got the clock out, so I gotta stop.